While the fictional SCP Foundation is one of the most innovative and creative new concepts of horror, the reason that we're really captivated by its all-encompassing canon is so we can cover our eyes and slightly squint when things go terribly wrong. And while when you've got an entire organisation full of thousands and thousands of some of the most powerful and terrifying anomalous creatures in existence, you're kind of asking for it. Because a containment breach is just another day, another dime for the SCP Foundation. Hello horror fans, what's going on and welcome back to the scariest channel on YouTube, Top 5 Scary Videos. As per usual, I'll be your horror host Jack Finch, as today we curiously take a look at the top 5 SCP containment breaches. Roll the clip.
Can't win, Boris.
Let's agree to disagree.
There's too many of us.
Rather hot in here. Mind if I open a window?
For the curious amongst you, that clip was from 2012's Men in Black 3 featuring Jermaine Clement as Boris the Animal, because, well, Jermaine Clement is awesome. That's why. Kicking off at number 5, Site 120. A containment breach in the fantastically written short story Until Death, which exclusively features the terrifying SCP-106, aka the Old Man, the horrifying creature that crawls through walls in its own mucus-filled pocket dimension, hunting and stalking its prey so it can consume them into its void. The thing is, pretty much any event surrounding SCP-106 has been classed as a devastating containment breach, and the Foundation are kind of sick and tired with having to deal with it. You can't exactly contain this nightmarish slug, it hunts on its own accord. Not a lot you can do really. Well, in the events of Until Death, flip that whole thing on its head and then some. Usually 106 has a propensity to hunt young humanoids between the age group of 10 and 25, but in this instance the Old Man had someone else on the menu. For those of you that haven't read it, we'll leave a link in the comment box down below, but essentially Until Death details an aging female Foundation researcher working late at night at Site 120, and well, 106 kind of wants to meet back up with his void-ridden wife, Anna, who maybe is his wife. If not, that's really messed up. It's pretty gross and horrifying, but it's also really sad. Next up at number 4, Incident 0961A. And although it was a devastating incident, it was also a pretty ingenious means to an end and potentially resulted in the actual extermination of SCP-096, aka the Shy Guy. If you don't know anything about 096, make sure to check out our Monster Files video where we go through the basics of this terrifying anomalous entity. For the most part, 1A is just a great read and a demonstration of why the Foundation's documentary style is so compelling. But what it does is essentially tells the story of Dr. Dan and his master plan to get the Foundation's O5 Council to finally recognize the true impending danger that 096 poses. The thing is, because 096 is triggered by an individual viewing it, either consciously or unconsciously, Dr. Dan was aware that the Shy Guy could potentially result in an XK class extinction event with the entire world exposed to the image of 096, and thus triggering a literal hungry hippo hoedown of death and destruction. So Dr. Dan conspired to sabotage one of 096's many containment breaches, resulting in an event that killed numerous civilians to finally prove how much danger it posed to the unwitting public. People died, but it kind of worked, and so Dr. Dan's punishment was to be the one to kill SCP-096 himself. I wonder if he looked it in the eye when he pulled the trigger. Coming in at number 3, SCP-1337. Recently we were asked the question which SCP would make the best horror film, and well, SCP-1337 is a pretty terrifying contender. Originally 1337 was a relatively harmless ghost classed safe as a level 2 humanoid apparition in the form of a young woman named Mary Tallish, who was abducted, ritually tortured and murdered on May 19th, 1952 in Muncie, Indiana. On the 19th day of every month, 1337 would walk along the road where she was killed, flag down any passing car and asked to be taken back to its home, which turned out to be a gravestone where it would disappear. Sadly. Turned out during one devastating incident, an arrogant Foundation doctor tasked with leading 1337's research decided it would be a good idea to destroy her gravestone, thinking that it would lead to him being promoted. Well, during this particular containment breach, what it actually did was serve to turn a harmless, safe class entity into a Euclid, free-roaming, actively aggressive corporeal wraith. That's never a good idea. And an entity that now the Foundation is absolutely terrified of. So much so that it actively hunted down the offending doctor, gouged out their eye sockets, and then ripped out their heart. Yeah, good end. Swinging in at number 2, SCP-1730. Whew. Now, if you've got a spare several hours, then the access file for SCP-1730 is definitely a worthy, horrifying read, although there are many oftentimes confusing moving parts. When they're fully realised though, 1730 is one of the most compelling yet skin-crawling demonstrations of what happens when things go really, really wrong within the Foundation, or well, an alternate reality version of the Foundation. Yeah. Don't say I didn't warn you. The basic components of 1730 are that it's a Foundation compound known as Site-13, originally located near Nome, Alaska. The actual origin of exactly what it was containing is otherwise unknown due to the fact that the site's leading director, Elliot Emerson, was actually disposing of many of its anomalous humanoid entities into some weird body pit that incinerated them and turned their remains into a mass gelatinous liquid anomaly. Of course, in one of the most disturbing containment breaches in the Foundation's alternate reality history, this terrifying liquid ooze infected the whole of Site-13, and so it was sealed away, doors locked, no one can ever go in, let's just hope it holds and forget about it. Although SCP-1730 kind of gives us more questions than answers, it's still utterly terrifying nonetheless. And finally, coming in at number 1 spot, Incident 239B. Holy moly, where do we even begin? Now, don't get me wrong, the reason that the SCP Foundation is so damn captivating is because of the intricacies of its content, which oftentimes spans an absolutely colossal amount of work. This one in particular, Incident 239B, features so many renowned characters and entities that it's one hell of a season finale. Essentially, there are several research professors in the Foundation's influence: Dr. Gears, Dr. Kondraki, the curious Dr. Bright, and Dr. Clef, who may or may not be Satan, or the snake at the Garden of Eden, or just some kind of reality-bending anomalous trickster. Well, essentially, in the events of Incident 239B, Dr. Clef had a bone to pick with SCP-239, also known as the Witch Child, a reality-bending entity that may or not be the creator of the universe as we know it, the Judeo-Christian god, or both of them rolled into one. Dr. Clef saw the anomalous powers of 239 as the greatest threat to existence, and so breached the Foundation himself in one of the most destructive and calamitous events in Foundation history. Honestly, the events of Incident 239B are so damn insane that it's difficult to keep your head, but it proves to be perhaps the most eventful containment breach on record. Well, there we have it, horror fans. Why don't you let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. You know that we always love hearing from you, and in particular I do enjoy some of your more creative questions, so please get asking. Also, if you'd like to check out more of our SCP based videos, make sure to check out our SCP playlist so you can binge and learn and be horrified and all at the same time. Great stuff. Cheers for sticking around all the way until the end, horror fans. If you're a fan of this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button as well as that subscribe bell. We'll be seeing you in the next one. As per usual, I've been your horror host, Jack Finch, and until next time, you take it easy.